It's a great feeling to level up, to look back at a period of growth and see how much you've learned and improved. But it doesn't happen by itself. Transformation only comes through facing struggles. At the heart of every great story is the character arc, the way characters grow and are changed by the struggles of the plot. And your story is no exception. In this episode with Paul Berkus, we examine how your response to struggle determines your growth, the dangers of a negative transformation, radical responsibility as a key to self-improvement, and how every great story is a tale of transformation. I'm Brent Diggs, and you found the Full Mental Bracket, where science and storytelling meet to help you level up and tell a better story with your life. Good time period, boys and girls. Welcome to the Full Mental Bracket podcast. We're coming back to you again for another episode, episode 6, if I recall correctly.
It's going by very quickly.
6. We have to pull out a finger of another hand so far to even keep track of all of the things we were. Anyway, yes. So, and we are continuing our continuing series on story and how to apply story to your life, specifically about looking at your life as an epic story.
Which I have grown to absolutely love in these 6 episodes. Like, I'm beginning to see my life even more than I already had.
It is. I've been very excited by it too. It's a really good tool. You know, if you've been with us for this whole journey so far, you know, we discovered this tool. Someone wrote a paper about it and we're like, oh yeah, the smart people say it's great. And then as we've been digging into it week after week, it's like, oh, it really is great.
Yes, we got smarter.
From Willow, like, you are great. And Val Kilmer's spinning his little sword around and like, ooh. Val Kilmer's telling everyone he's a great swordsman. And like 3/4 of the movie, he finally pulls the sword out and it's like, oh, you are great.
But you make a good point. Like every movie now, actually everything. I mean, their own stories. I'm just starting to see all the elements.
Yeah, it is. And as you talk to people, they're like, well, I could never do that. And it's like, well, is that your voice? Whose story are you telling? Who started that story? And maybe you need some different role models.
Yes. And maybe you need to be listening to a particular podcast.
Yes. So this is the Schrodinger's podcast. If you because it's the Schrodinger's, it's a thought experiment. The cat is alive and dead until you open the box. So you should be listening.
Okay.
If you don't have confidence, you should be listening to our podcast. But if you're not listening to our podcast, you don't know that you should be listening to our podcast.
I remember that.
So some quantum physicists will figure out how to make that work.
Right.
We'll put them on payroll.
That's like the question of
a chair next to Brody.
When a tree falls in the forest with no one in it, does it actually make a sound?
Wait, if no one's in the tree? Well, if my tree house fell over, I'm definitely making a sound. Like, ah! All right, never mind.
I think a part of this podcast is going to be Paul's reactions to Brent.
Okay, I think that's fair.
I mean, it might be yours to mine too.
Well, you know, I may or may not have a react video from other people for every moment of my life, so I could probably be used to that. It's all good. So
6 is going to be a little different.
How so?
Episode. Well, I mean, I think we are leading up to something special. Like the story leads up to something special.
Well, we are leading up to transformation. That's today's theory. Today's concept is transformation. To recap the elements and chapters for you, the first element or step is that you become a protagonist. You see yourself as driving your own story. Mm-hmm. You undertake the quest. You get off the couch in the comfort zone and get out there in the arena.
My favorite one.
You find the tribe. Yes. You realize that no one does it alone and that you need support and assistance and advice and helpers and encouragement.
Then you are equipped
to face the obstacles. Yes. So when life throws unpleasant events, adversarial things at you, adversity at you, you don't say, my life sucks. Why is this happening to me? You're like, oh, this is my chance to wrestle with them, to embrace them, and to grow through them.
Yeah, that was much more epic than the lemons. I thought you were going to say,
I was trying
when life throws you lemons.
No. But which brings us to this week. Once you've wrestled with through the process. Now, see, that's easy to say once you've wrestled your obstacles, but the obstacles keep coming. So in the process of wrestling with your obstacles, and sometimes it's a 2-step forward, 1 step back kind of thing. It's not like you take your 1 step and like, I've transformed. Because if you could, I would have signed up for that a long time ago.
Yes.
But no, you go forward, you go back a little bit, your arc rises and falls, but it's generally trending upwards towards growth.
Love it. I've always loved that idea.
So that's the thing. So if that's the thing, another bonus tip, listeners, if you're having a rough day and if you blew your diet or you missed your workout or you got in a fight with someone, you're like, oh no, I've blown it. It's like, yes, well, that particular data point is down a little bit. And tomorrow you get back on the wagon and you get it back up again.
So all hope is not lost.
All hope is not lost. It ties into what we're talking about an identity being your snapshot day to day from where you are on your journey.
Yes.
So on this particular day of your journey, it's not looking too promising, but yesterday was awesome and tomorrow is probably going to be twice as awesome. So get up and get back out there.
Speaking of transformation, it looks like we transformed from Starbucks to 7 Brew.
Yes. So it's important to note, hint, hint, that no one is sponsoring our coffee habit. We're just doing this for free.
Yeah.
And today, 7 Brew is getting our business. If 7 Brew wanted to maintain our business, they could just send us free coffee. But, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. I was thinking out loud. Anyway, carry on.
So I'm excited about this. So seeing your life as an epic story changes how you see the value and the ends of your struggles.
Yes.
All right. And when I was thinking about that, I thought, not only does it change how you see the values, it actually changes your values.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, because I know we leaned into my personal experience a lot, which I told about once I escaped the adventure of the wartime and military things. I was just happy to be fat and happy on the couch and not leave the comfort zone again. So my value was basic Netflix and chill, kind of was like an unofficial life motto. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, how come I'm not accomplishing anything? How come I don't have a legacy? How come things aren't happening? And it's like, what are you doing now? I'm sitting on my butt. It's like, there might be a connection.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So how can we move someone from this place of comfort to face the obstacles and then finally to what we're talking about today, this transformation?
Well, I think it's about, through the process of changing how you see the end result of your struggle and the value of your struggle. So it sounds simplistic, and you've heard this before, no pain, no gain. And it's like, Jim Bros will say that or something. But even in development, that's true in your life. It's like, what worthwhile thing have you done that you didn't have to work and struggle and wrestle with it?
Yeah.
If you're going to build something, or if you're going to raid the lost ark, or if you're going to do something, do you really think that there's not going to be any pushback? There's not going to be any guards? No one's going to try to stop you from doing that? Or as Pressfield likes to call it, the resistance that comes and pushes back against you? There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be enemies, antagonists trying to stop you, forces of antagonism.
Antagonism.
Those people that are stopping you may not be your enemies, but they are operating as a force that's antagonistic to what you're trying to do.
Yes.
Because we have to tie that in again, that we're all protagonists.
It seems antagonistic.
Yes, it seems.
Even though sometimes it's that, what is it? The adversarial ally.
Right.
Yeah. Could be part of that.
And even
resistance.
if you weren't an ally, even though our goals are in opposition to each other, that doesn't make you the villain. It just means that we are tripping over each other as obstacles to try to get to what we want to do. Doesn't mean one's right or wrong. We just have to figure out how to interweave that.
Yeah. I stumbled on an interesting topic this week, and it was something separate from what we're doing. However, embedded within it was this idea of adversity. And it was such an interesting, her last name's Berkus, and it was this metaphysical kind of idea, spiritual idea that everyone has to accept that there will be a force that we come into our lives having some sense of purpose given to us, whether we accept that or not.
All right.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Right.
So once we accept it, and I guess the parallel there is becoming the protagonist, she basically said there's a denying force, some force that will oppose us. And then on the other side of that is a transformation. And I was like, wow, here's a completely different area of study. And it has all of these elements.
The format of story.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And even ties into the Pressfield thing. We're talking about the resistance and stuff. Yeah. I like that.
I love it.
I think it's interesting.
That gets me excited.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really familiar with metaphysics, and I know that's somehow connected to Plato or whatever. We'll have to get into that sometime in the future.
Some other time, yeah.
That's great, though. But so even in fields of philosophy and stuff, they're still talking in terms that translate into the story form.
Exactly.
So it's like this is a lens that a bunch of different disciplines dump into.
Yeah. It's almost like,
including us.
Yeah. It's almost like there is some truth that kind of lines the fabric.
So if our discipline's dumping into this, does that mean that we have a discipline? Does that mean we're disciplined, or we've just been disciplined? We've received discipline so many times that I don't know.
Oh,
I've been in timeout a lot. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah. Well, we become disciplined, I guess, if we accept the reality of the discipline.
I guess so. We're
going to talk about that.
I was thinking more about when I was a kid, everyone made the joke that I was going to be an electrician. Like, why do you think that? Because you spend all your time grounded. It's like, yes, that is very witty. Thank you. Go away. All right. So yeah, the struggles themselves have value, and it reminds us that what we're questing for is not just the success of the quest, of the immediate result, but the actual transformation of the process.
Yes.
And that's something that seems to get lost in our society today. I know I lost that plot for like decades.
Yeah. And I've got a fundamental belief that I think that we can unpack it as we go along in this podcast. But at least today, I'll just present this idea. I feel like people, they want to be transformed without going through the struggle.
Like a transformation pill, or the easy button you keep referring to, the easy button.
Or the transform, or the blue pill, right? Or just staying in the matrix.
So that's not Voltron. That's like the Power Rangers. You push the button and you transformed. That's a different. I never liked them as much as Voltron. Probably because their transformation was too easy. It wasn't earned. That's a thing in story.
That's a thing.
That's a thing in movies and story writing. It's like, why was this a bad story? Well, the
too easy.
The success wasn't earned.
Yeah, which is interesting because it's almost a paradigm.
Yeah,
it's like people don't want the work in real life,
right?
But then they're not pleased when they see someone who doesn't go through enough work in the story.
So it's another way, the disconnect between when we look story and then when we apply it to our lives. It's
Make up your minds, people.
We want an easy transformation, but if we watch an easy transformation, we want our money back because that's not entertaining. It's not satisfying. It's not real. Yeah. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. So one more idea.
Yeah.
Okay. Just real quick. I feel like fundamentally, in order to get over this hump that we're talking about right now, there has to be an acceptance that we are flawed. That we are flawed beings.
Are you talking about you or me?
Well, particularly me and others.
I've never flawed in my life.
Practically perfect in every way.
Yes, I will agree. We are flawed beings.
I don't know. I think that if you think that you can arrive transformed,
right?
Without changing your mind, it's like,
right.
What did Albert Einstein say? You can't get past a problem if you're using the same thinking
that got you there.
That got you there.
You have to transform to a different tool of thinking. I like that. That's good. And that's something that seems to get lost a lot in our society, as we've mentioned. We get really focused. We look at life almost like from a business or industry mindset. We emphasize the end product rather than the process. We emphasize the destination rather than the journey, and we focus all our energy on delivering the goods.
There's way more dopamine involved with staring at that picture.
It's done. The gold star on your refrigerator.
Yes.
Dopamine. Yes, and that's and I think we kind of mentioned some of that in earlier episodes. Kind of the balance between comfort and adventure. I think this is a similar thing. I think so there is the satisfaction of achievement, but ultimately that's kind of a temporary pleasure. You feel good for a day or a week, and then you're like, well, now what? It's like, I've worked my whole life for this award, and then you have to get out of bed the next day. And you're like, well, what do I do now? So the journey itself provides satisfaction. It's not as an intense dopamine kind of peak like that, but it's just this long-lasting satisfaction that keeps you growing and transforming and going on the journey.
I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here, but
go ahead.
Years ago, in my supervision, a supervisor said, we were talking about someone who just could not seem to get motivated to achieve this therapy goal in this program. And I remember him saying, we've got to give him something small to accomplish. He said, if he doesn't have any accomplishments under his belt, he doesn't know what it feels like to be on the other side of the obstacle. And I know we're going to touch on that later.
No, I think that's great. I think that is a little off topic, but at times ties into the idea of shaping behavior. Yeah. It's like maybe you didn't achieve it 100%, but you're a third of the way there, which is better than you've ever been. You need to recognize that and validate that. Yeah. If you're like, no, you're still 2/3 short, no one's going to be motivated to continue. You're like, all right, you've made it. Now take another step. Yeah. And it's easy sometimes for me to apply to other people and maybe not so easy to apply to myself. It's like, you're still 0.23% short. And it's like, that's pretty darn good, actually.
Yeah. Well, and I think that sometimes people don't know that growth is the other side of adversity. Oh, yes. They don't know that there is something.
Yes.
There is something exciting on the other side.
And that's the thing.
Worthwhile.
Yes, absolutely. And that was me. And so when I talk about people being skeptical of personal development and skeptical of growth and rah, because that was totally me. Like, well, it's important to grow. And I'm like, who are you talking to? I'm doing great. So it's important to face our adversity. It's like, not if I can help it. I'm like, adversity is horrible. And I would hear these words, but they meant nothing to me. They were cheesy. And then it was only as I lived into it some, I'm like, oh, I'm not really seeing the long-lasting satisfaction in my life. I'm not leveling up. I'm not growing. I don't have these things where I'm satisfied and feel like I'm really giving back to the world like I could because I'm too timid to leave the comfort zone.
Yeah. And some people don't even believe, they don't even have a solidified identity to even know that they have a purpose.
True.
And so sometimes they have to know, or they have to actually be coached in understanding why.
Right.
The why of why am I going through this?
And and it's so, and I think that's a whole nother episode on whether you're like born with a purpose or you find it or you construct your own purpose. But I think a lot of people haven't done that work and they're like, well, purpose is for other people. I've made it to the weekend, and so I'm going to self-medicate and just drift through the weekend and then try not to just keep my head down and do as little as possible, not take too many risks, not taking any chances, not really grow, they're racing for retirement. Like we were talking about, or at least implying a couple episodes ago. Yes. It's like, is that really how you want to live? You want to live your whole life holding your breath, racing for retirement, and then you realize, much like the achievement, like, I'm here, what do I do now? I've lived my whole life to get here. And now I'm playing shuffleboard or Wii bowling with all the senior citizens.
It's not epic.
It's not epic.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, we're not going to shame you or anything, but you could be epic.
Yeah. That could be an encouraging word to somebody, by the way.
You could be epic.
Like they could be like, no, I don't see it. But I think that we should say it.
I think we should. And
you could be
epic. And to pull out a thought from a previous episode, often the protagonist is the least likely looking person. We found Frodo Baggins to go all the way to Mordor, right? And it's like he had the tiniest legs. He had to take twice as many steps as everybody else. I mean, he was the wrong person. So every time you say, it's not me, that actually makes for a better story sometimes if you are the least likely. Then you can inspire other people. Not only do you get the satisfaction of doing something that no one believed you could do, especially yourself. Yeah. But then you also get to be a role model for other people. Like, well, if they did it, I can do it too. And you get to inspire other people.
Inspiration.
Being inspiring is awesome, I think.
And being inspired. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, it's a cycle. It's a circle. It's the circle of life.
I was going to sing it. Circle of inspiration. Something about kings and vagabonds. I don't know. Yes, no, I think you're completely right. Completely right. Because as we were mentioned before, it's like it's the same balance, or to use a fancy Paul term, it could be the same dialectic. Yep. Which is you can't have purpose and adventure without the discomfort.
That's right.
And it's the same thing. You can't have the satisfaction of growth without the pain and the struggle of adversity. They're flip sides of the same coin.
Accept it.
Yes.
Accept it.
So what do you think this looks like in story? It's all kind of theoretical till now.
Yeah. Well, this first definition sounds like me explaining plot.
Okay.
You know,
Explain it.
a bunch of things that happen to a character, challenges, complications.
Yes. And that's it. Some writers talk about you put your character up a tree and then you throw rocks at them. That's how you develop a plot. Because there's like decisions made under pressure reveal the character and they also shape the character and all that stuff.
Oh, man.
So we have two elements. We have the plot and we have the character arc. And sometimes people, even writers, get those two confused. But they're two separate things. The plot, as Paul mentioned, are the events that happen. Good, bad, pushback, the try-fails, all the things we talked about. No one makes the first jump. All the things we've talked about. The character arc is how that character responds positively, negatively, running away, growing, leaning in to those events. Oh, man. Which, again, it's entertaining to watch that happen on the screen. It's a little less entertaining to see that happen in your own life. It's like, I got to get out of bed again and face that adversity again.
Yes.
It's like, well, yesterday ended on a fail, and this is a try. You got to try, fail. You got to get up and try it again.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't seem fair. Oh, man.
No, it doesn't.
So there's a quote from Christopher Vogler. He defines the character arc as the gradual stages of change in a character, the phases and turning points of growth.
Turning points.
Now, Vogler, if you recall, wrote the book on hero's journey as applied to storytelling, to filmmaking. Yeah. So that's what he has to say. He's like, it's not enough just to have a hero's journey of plots. You have to develop your character with an arc.
Yes. I deal with character arcs in real time.
That's true.
Yeah. And I said at the beginning of the podcast, I said, I see, and it's happened even more so since we've been doing this podcast. I see people's lives through the lens of story. And one thing that I've noticed is there is a dialectic. You know, there are things that happen to people. People experience tragedy and they do get stuck. They do get stuck.
Oh, yeah.
And they get stuck because of things that have happened to them. And so it's very hard sometimes for people to wrap their mind around this idea that I have to do something. Right. But, and that's the struggle. That's part of that dialectic is like, okay, I understand something happened to you. I understand that you're stuck, right?
Right.
That this pattern of thinking that has developed out of this experience has rendered you frozen in many ways. And what if from this point, not from the point of the tragedy, but this point today, as you look at yourself in a frozen state, if you can see that as the obstacle, not the trauma, but as that frozen state as being the new obstacle. And that has, I would almost say that using story as a tool has helped people frame. And I have seen some transformation or a mind shift or a mindset change in people just being like, okay, so you're telling me that I've got to overcome this frozen state, not just that I can't deny that something bad happened.
So the frozen state maybe was like a tool or some sort of coping mechanism that they because I'm trying to think of a movie where someone adopts their tool and they won't let go of it and the tool becomes the obstacle.
Oh,
listeners, I'm sure you can come up with something. I'm not coming up with anything right now, but we'll think about that.
But see, now that you posed the question, my brain will be scanning everything I watch now.
It's like, how did I just grab this tool and think it was the solution, but it actually became the problem?
Yes. And I'm probably going to, at some point in this podcast, use the words adaptive and maladaptive. So what we're talking about right now is really defining that. When people are stuck or they're frozen and they have that tool that you just mentioned that they're holding on to, might have worked, right?
Right.
Like, people that deal with trauma, dissociation actually is very helpful until you're ready to deal with that frozen state.
So while you're in this same crisis, to go away to a happy place can be a good thing.
It can be.
If you can't physically escape, you can mentally escape.
Yeah.
But once you've escaped and you want to heal and pull it back together again, that tool is not so useful anymore.
Exactly.
I got you.
Couldn't have said it better.
Well, I looked up, I was kind of curious. I came up with this word adaptive in a lot of literature, and I was kind of curious what it meant. And if I recall correctly, under the definition I came up with is adaptive just means it's useful to help people achieve their goals and interact with each other. If the tool's working or not, if it's adaptive. Adaptive means contributing to a successful life on a certain level. Adaptive means contributing to a certain life, successful life. And maladaptive means it's keeping you from having a successful life.
Yeah.
It's
And
probably
I think,
more nuanced than that, but that was my layman version.
yeah, that's actually pretty good. I would add to that, it's the adjustment to changes.
Oh, right.
Right.
So you're static and you're not really adjusting to the changes as they come.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the old school idea of IQ, and I say old school because there are other types of intelligences, is adaptability.
Right.
How can you adjust to a change?
Intelligence is problem solving.
Yes, exactly. So, that begged, as I was studying some of this at some point a couple of weeks ago, I was like, okay, so how do we help people move through their life, through the struggles of life, if they just inherently don't have as good of problem solving abilities or capabilities as some others?
So they have different forms of intelligence, but the problem solving ones are kind of through nature or nurture has become a weakness to them. So how do you find the lever to get out from where you are right now if you don't actually have the tool currently to get out?
But what's so incredible is
that's why you get paid the big bucks. I know people like that, but they're called executives, and I just
that's why I get paid the dozens of dollars. Yeah.
Rolling in those pennies. I just roll in my spare change at night. My wealth.
Yeah. Did I forget that half of my income is nonprofit?
Yeah. Wow.
It's okay. Anyway. But this idea, though, is that people, when it comes to finding your tribe, it's just a huge game changer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's again, I talked about this off air. I didn't know. This is why sometimes it's a surprise what we're going to talk about, right? But we'll introduce this another time. But recently played a role play game where everybody assessed their strengths and weaknesses, and it was such a good way to see it on paper. It's like, okay, I love to look at a group of people, all their strengths and weaknesses. How are your strengths and weaknesses going to work together to achieve a common goal?
I like that.
Yeah. And of course, the classic story, each person had their own story, and then collectively they also had a story.
So to break that down for more like tabletop gamers, of which I really am not one, they base their own character sheet based on their own selves.
Yeah.
Like, this is my strength, this is my weakness. And other people critiqued it. It's like, actually, you need to bump this up and bump this down.
Yeah. And then when
they formed a party together to go on a quest.
A quest?
I love it. Story is applicable in so many different ways.
Yes.
So we've got to put a pin on intelligence because we need to do an episode on intelligence.
Yes, a pin.
Yes. Anyway, had a conversation with my wife just the other day about intelligent people are no less polarized or partisan than other people. They just have better tools for making justifications for their irrational conclusions. It's like, so intelligence is like a problem-solving tool, but it doesn't solve all of the problems.
Yep.
Sometimes it makes its own problems.
Yeah. Well, and you find people that might have average IQs have higher EQs.
Yes.
Emotional quotient.
And we put that in. So once again, we're not talking about this today. Even though, listeners, it sounds like we're talking about this today, we're not really talking about this today. But in the future, we'll also talk about the term and study where these high IQ people were no more successful or happy or had any other great results than other people. They were just people.
It had a lot more to do with, and I don't know if it's the same studies, but I've read studies that talk about this idea of grit.
Yes, that's
being actually
ultimately far more valuable than IQ in the long term.
Yes.
This is Paul and I playing Pokemon. We're slapping studies down on each other. We're playing Go Fish. I see your Termin and I raise you Dweck. We'll do that sometime in an episode of the Beard.
Yes. And we'll actually have it sitting in front of us with authors and articles.
So Paul talked about how people get stuck, and he described it from a therapeutic point of view. We see a similar thing from a story point of view. So a transformation story might have plot points that go like this. A person is faced with an insurmountable problem. A person tries everything that they currently know how to do to solve that problem. Nothing works. Person makes a discovery, learns something new or unlearns something old. that seems to point in the right direction. Then they have a lot of try-fail cycles because you don't actually make the first jump. And then the person is transformed. There's a change in their identity, their beliefs, and their abilities, and they become the person that they weren't at the beginning of the story that can actually solve the problem of the story.
Well said.
And there's a final test in there to make so even though it looks like you're transformed, you run into this final test to see if it really stuck. Did the change stick, or are you just fooling yourself?
Yeah, I remember that in The Matrix. It was like, okay, we've seen Neo stop bullets. Okay.
Right.
But can he really finish the job?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are going to get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because and I think we've been talking all around it, and we talked about people and being stuck and whatnot. But at the end of the day, growth is a choice. We've talked about picking your pain. Your adversity is going to come to you and beat you up. But whether you choose to grow from that is a choice. I mean,
when I first read that,
right.
My dialectical.
You had a caveat, which is good.
My alarm went off.
Right.
Whoop, whoop,
yes.
Whoop. All right. So I was like, okay, there is a caveat.
Yes.
Or the new word, there is a nuance.
A nuance.
Yes. The nuance is people have to know that something positive is going to happen on the other side of the struggle.
Right.
And I would term that as hope.
I got you. So if they don't believe there's something on the other side of the struggle, they're not really going to engage the struggle.
Yeah.
So the choice doesn't really look like a choice.
It doesn't look like a choice.
Like screwed if you do, screwed if you don't. Why am I going to stick my neck out?
I like the way you said that. It doesn't look like a
still
choice,
is.
But it still is.
I saw something similar in like studies of people in poverty. People like, well, if you just had discipline, if you did this, you did this. And it's like, well, if every time from your point of view, you get some money, the tax man comes in and swoops it up, or someone breaks their leg, then you're going to buy an iPhone as soon as you get that money. You're not going to hold on to it for a rainy day because it never stops raining in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so, well, if you were just like no, that they don't, people don't think like that. Their experiences have shaped the way that they behave. And we try to moralize that. Like, well, they're bad people. It's like, well, you live 6 months in those shoes and come back and tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Tell me how different you see the world.
You make a valid point. So there was an idea here that I think that it fit into what we were talking about, and it's part of the transformation.
Okay.
And I feel like part of that transformation is, we're talking about mindset focus.
Right.
Right. I'm sorry, mindset change.
Yes.
Which also winds up being focus. And it's this idea of letting go. And I remember one time you were like, well, what are they letting go of?
Right.
And for me, I feel like a lot of transformation occurs, or when transformation occurs, people have a clear picture of what is not in their control. And so this new mindset says, I'm going to focus on what is on my control.
Right.
And so a lot of that transformation is I can see more clearly what I actually need to be doing.
Which I think ties into this dialectic we got here, is that you may not have caused all of your problems, but you are responsible for solving them. This radical responsibility, as some people call it, which was a big to me. It's like, no, you don't understand. Someone came and beat me with a stick. It's like, yes, but if you continue to lay in the ditch for the next 6 months, that's your choice. Yes. No, but you didn't see how big the stick was. It's like, you're not listening to me.
Which you might not be.
Right. And that's fair.
They need some validation.
If you're still suffering, if you're still angry, if you're still traumatized, you may not be listening. But 2 years later, when you're still in the ditch and people are tired of hearing about how big that stick was, it's like, it's been 2 years, dude.
Yes.
I think you can get up. It's safe. He's gone. You can get up now.
Yeah. They probably need some validation first. Story for another day.
Yeah. I think we'd make a whole episode about that too.
Yeah. Well, I think it's part of the tribe. Helps.
Yes. That's part of the value of the tribe.
You got to think about it. The tribe isn't just there to, actually, they're not there to be the protagonist for you.
Oh, I'm having this meta moment. Right after the meta moment that you've talked about Frozen and letting it go, and I refuse to sing because I have discipline like that. But then the other meta moment is that we talked about I don't know if we got on the podcast or not, but we know part of the tribe is the mentor, and the mentor may not be a physical person. It could be a code of ethics or some sort of of intellectual thing. So the template of story could become a mentor, become part of your looking at other stories and movies could be kind of a mentor to you in your growth.
Yes.
That could be part of your tribe.
And a part of the transformation.
Right. But okay, listeners, you still have to have actual breathing human beings in your tribe. You can't collect your favorite video games and movies and call that a tribe. I see some of you trying to do that right now. Stop. Human beings breathing.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of introverts
Not
that are like,
robots.
I heard him. He said it.
Not bots, human beings.
But see, it's and.
Yes.
And some other things can be a part of that.
And this is the beauty of the dialectic. It's not either or, it's and, which applies to so many things as we're learning.
That's right.
Paul has his brain opened up by some of the story thing. This dialectic thing is blowing my mind. It's like, it doesn't have to be left or right. It can be somewhat in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't have shoes or socks. I could have both.
Yeah.
It's like, get out.
And I am also
all those days I came in the rain with just the socks. If only I'd known this earlier, my life would have been so much better. Fewer colds. It would have been awesome.
Yeah. I am also resisting the urge right now to tell you why Let It Go was bad philosophy also. Because that was just her swinging to the other side of the dialectic.
Oh, yeah. Instead of finding the middle. Right.
Yeah. It's not the letting go I was talking about. Anyway.
This happens at my house all the time. I'll brag to my wife. I was like, I'm showing so much discipline because I was going to make a joke about this. I was like, did you not just backhandedly make that same joke? It's like, yes, but this time I get points for being disciplined and not actually doing it. I sketch it all out, but I didn't actually say it. So it still counts.
We better move on.
Woo. All right.
Embrace the struggles.
Yes.
Let them teach you and improve.
Yes.
Yes.
Growth and transformation is often the most engaging part of a story. It's the difference between just a run-of-the-mill story and something that really grabs you and sticks with you and you remember from time to time.
I kind of wrote this down to make sure that I said it. It gives you hope.
It does. Transformation gives you hope. And as you pointed out, you have to have hope to really engage to get transformation.
Yes.
It's one of those cycles again.
Yeah, there you go.
And so some people are there. So, well, if it's a cycle, is that not a paradox? If you need hope to grow and then you need to grow to get hope, it's like, well, that's where people like Paul come in, to find that lever to get the wheel going. Once the wheel goes, it starts reinforcing itself. If you can get a little bit of hope or a little bit of growth, the growth will support the hope will support the growth. It's just trying to get past that initial inertia. Yes. Like we were talking about earlier. Can you see this? You're 30% there. Isn't that amazing? You made a partial step, but that's more forward direction than you've had in 3 years.
Oh, man.
Isn't that awesome?
It is awesome. And sometimes I am like in the try-fail cycle with them, and they like to blame me.
Well, then you just sing Let It Go to them, and then they'll repent from their sins, and they'll go back to where they were. All right. So tales of transformation are among the most popular and the most powerful stories found in books and movies. A few examples are Groundhog Day.
Yes.
As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson. You make me want to be a better man.
That was good.
You got Shrek. I won't even go into the Onion Shrek thing. The Emperor's New Groove, a favorite in our family. It's a Wonderful Life, which I broke down and watched in my story writer's journey. That everyone kept quoting it, and I actually watched it all the way through. And like, this is actually a pretty good movie.
It's a very good movie.
It was actually very sci-fi. Let's go to an alternate dimension where you were never born. And I'm like, well, why didn't someone tell me this was sci-fi? I would have watched this years ago.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
So what do you think it is that makes transformation stories so appealing to people? Why are they so popular and timeless?
Well, can I just keep saying it?
Yeah.
I think it gives people hope.
Oh, yeah. It gives them hope. Well, and that's it. Because, when you see people grapple with their problems and succeed, these people become more.
Yes.
They become more capable, more balanced, more self-aware, and more at peace. And if you see someone else do that, even a fictional person, you're like, that problem looks suspiciously similar to my problem. Maybe I could do that too.
I think that we're hitting on something that maybe we're not even fleshing out completely. And that is that people don't have a reference point, because sometimes problems, even though they may have overcome problems last year or 10 years ago, this new problem is a new context.
Right. It's unlike anything we've ever faced before.
Yeah. So they don't have a reference point. And suddenly the story gives them some kind of reference point, right?
Yes.
So they see the protagonist in a story as being more capable, and they're like, I could do that.
Yeah. And I think we've hinted on this in some of our earlier episodes, but the lens of story helps you actually take a more distance vantage point. Instead of being right up in the middle of the drama of your life, getting slapped in the face by your obstacles, you get to look at it from a 30,000 foot viewpoint.
Yeah, the objectivity.
It's like, oh yeah, this is how someone else faced a similar problem, and I'm not feeling the emotions. I'm not feeling the frustration. I'm not feeling the desperation. I'm actually seeing someone else do it. I'm watching their speed run or something. Like, oh, I could take a few tips from that.
Yep.
And then you get back into the trenches and you're like, all right, well, let's try not to forget what we learned as the problems go back to slapping me in the face.
Yes. And I think the more that I've studied story in these recent months, I've grown into a new appreciation of this idea of leveling up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, that puts a language to this idea that, okay, I'm different than I was last year. Like I have now grown and I'm different. Like I am this past version of myself.
Right.
Is definitely the person that I was hoping that I wouldn't be by this time. And lo and behold, I am a better version of myself.
Yeah, and this whole best version of you, when I first came out, I thought that just sounded weird, and I was kind of skeptical about it. But as we've got more into this tool, I'm starting to see that. Like you were a version of you, and the story served to transform you into the person that could actually solve the problem of that story. You are a now new, better, leveled up version of you.
Now there is a nuance here.
Okay.
And it has a lot to do with other people being able to see some of these changes, because sometimes the mind
not always going to see them.
No, I don't think other people are going to see it right away anyway.
Right.
Because you may have a different way of looking at something. And I hate to say it, but the old version of you, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of the old version's behavior for a little bit.
Right. Because you started some rocks rolling.
Yeah.
And just because you've changed. What was it? It was Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It's like, well, the Lord may have saved your soul, but the state of Mississippi may not have forgiven your prison time. It's like,
perfect.
It's like, yeah,
that's perfect.
Like,
yes.
Congratulations, you've grown, but the consequences of your previous actions are still rolling and have their own inertia, and you're going to have to deal with that. I love it. I love it.
I'm going to write that one down. Just make sure we put it in our database.
Okay. Oh man. So as we keep talking about, we keep hinting a little bit about growth and identity, and we keep, maybe I'm hammering this point too much, but I read it in, I think it was in James Clear's book about, or just a quote. He said, to grow requires a loose grip on identity. And that just hit me so hard. It's like, I'm busy trying to justify who I'm this guy, I'm this veteran, I do this, I'm this person who does this. And it's like, that could keep me from ever growing or changing or anything. If this dysfunction of mine or this thing that's not helping me right now, it becomes a point of pride, and you can pry it from my cold dead hands, then where am I going to go? How am I going to grow?
Then you might get that wish.
You might get that wish sooner than you thought. You're colder and deader than you might imagine because you didn't grow. You have to, it's adapt or die at a certain level. I mean, hopefully not on a daily level, but ultimately at the basic level, if you don't adapt, you stagnate and you don't grow and you alienate your friends and family, and you find yourself all alone and grow old, and then it's over.
Yeah.
And no one remembers you, and no one says, hey, that thing that he or she built to contribute to the world, they're not talking about that. That's legacy. Next episode.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do it.
Yeah. You
got stuck.
Yeah. And you're touching on that negative transformation right now.
Oh yeah. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Actually, let's talk to that. Let's skip ahead.
Okay.
We're skipping right ahead.
All right.
So we're talking about all this transformation, and we're about to talk about some positive transformations. But to begin, we're going to go to a negative transformation. Okay. Stories can also be cautionary tales. So one tale is the story of The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
So in the story of The Godfather is the story of a good and honorable man who repeatedly tries to solve the problems of his family, But unfortunately for him, his family is a mafia family, making their problems the kind that are hard to solve by good and ethical means. Time after time, he tries to solve his family's problems while staying a good man, but his problems keep getting bigger and nothing he tries works.
Man.
Finally,
Sorry, it just sounds
tell me.
Just sounds like people.
It sounds like people. Yeah. Well, movies are a exaggerated version of reality.
Are they?
Compressed and exaggerated.
Oh,
yes.
We should do a podcast on that.
We should do that. So time and again, he tries to solve his family's problems while staying a good man, but his problems keep getting bigger and nothing he tries works for long. Finally, he transforms into the person he needs to be to solve the problems of his family. He transforms into a ruthless and vengeful godfather.
Oops.
He lets go of his identity as an honest and innocent man, and in so doing, he solves the problem. To a certain definition of solved.
Right.
All his enemies are dead, and the family's secure, and everyone fears him, and no one's going to try anything good for at least 18 months. So he solved all the problems.
Yes. He maladaptively solved them.
Michael Corleone. He transformed to become what he thought was what the story needed. He became a violent authoritarian figure to lead the family and punish his enemies. But his story became a personal tragedy.
Gosh, this is kind of how we defined an antagonist.
Yeah, you can, when life hits you as an adversity, that's a great idea. How you respond determines if you're the protagonist or the antagonist.
Yeah.
Because we talked earlier about we're all protagonists, but as we mentioned in other episodes, if we're reaching in to drive other people's cars, and we're trying to control them, we're trying to steal their legacy, then we've kind of left the protag and kind of entered into the antag territory.
Yes. So when I was thinking about this idea of negative transformation, I went back to the dialectic that we talked about earlier, which is you may not have caused all your problems, but it's your responsibility to solve it.
Right.
And I realized that was what I noticed in the example of The Godfather and some of the real-time stories that I've heard. And that is that people, instead of taking responsibility, they choose to blame others.
Right.
And so I think that's we talked about turning points at some earlier, right?
Right.
Those turning points in the character
Part
arc.
of the plot. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
the character arc. Yeah. The character arc are the turning points of growth.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and this is like a turning point in the direction of blaming others. And then it's almost like the life trajectory at that point becomes a pattern, just like I was talking about people getting stuck.
Right.
This pattern of thinking, which is, I've got to take care of this now, which is interesting because they're not taking responsibility on the right problem, which goes back to, again, what is in your control, what's not in your control.
There's a lot of assumptions they didn't question. The assumptions were, we have to stay a crime family. We have to be strong and punish our enemies. We have to fight fire with fire. We can't quit. We can't retire. We can't go into witness protection. We can't move to another country and just let the other enemy have we can't just roll over and have a peaceful life. Now, maybe they couldn't roll over and stay in that neighborhood and have a peaceful life, but they could have left somewhere else. Maybe. I don't know. So, yeah, there was a lot of assumptions they just skipped over and said, all right, these are the rules of the engagement. We have to fight blood with blood.
Yeah. Also, the law of entropy kind of came up, which is something I use every now and then just as an idea that if you don't address a problem, if you don't take responsibility for the problem itself, then it tends to just get worse.
Yes.
Much like the law of entropy. It just continues to snowball with all of its consequences. Behaviors get reinforced, so you just continue to do the same thing over and over again.
Right. We used to sometimes call that going around the mountain. You just go in a circle around a mountain and you get all the way back to where you started and like, oh, look, that same obstacle is right where I left it. As if no one solved it when I ran away from it. And it was just there waiting for me. But as you were saying, the obstacle can often get bigger.
Yeah.
You lap around the mountain and like, wow, that rock is even bigger than last time I saw it. So someone should do something about that.
So what does that say about that lady?
Which
lady that we sing about? She'll be coming around the mountain.
Oh, she'll be coming around. Well, Shelby, Shelby was coming around. I don't know. All right. So you get two dads.
We are dads.
You get two dads, you get dad jokes. That's just, we've been doing really good up to this point, so don't complain. Yeah.
Now we
talked about clinging to identity. So we're going to give you some examples. All right. So protagonists are changing and struggling and growing slowly throughout a good story, but there's often a final test that demonstrates how the character has changed since the beginning. It's like a story version of a before and after photo.
So we've moved into positive transformation.
Yes. Well, we talked briefly, definitely with the scare tactics. If you don't transform right, you could become the Godfather. Now we're going back into the positive thing. If you transform correctly, either way, good or bad, there is a final test in a story. It's like, I think he's grown. I think he's doing better. And he thinks he's doing better, or she thinks she's doing better. But then there has to be this final reckoning. It's like, are you going to go back to your old way of thinking, or have you really adopted the change for good? It's the final. Now I want to sing the final countdown. Never mind. The final countdown. Anyway, so let's look at the Matrix. Let's forget that we just sang Europe and move on. And look at the Matrix. Neo struggles to believe and improve. The whole movie long, he's struggling to believe he's the one. He's struggling to improve and control the Matrix. He's showing a little bit of control here, a little bit of control there. Sci-fi magic. I can kind of do this stuff. I can stretch the rules a little bit. And then we talked about in our previous episodes this whole cycle of victory that he had. He rescued Morpheus. He beat down Agent Smith with his bare hands. Something no one had ever done before.
Again, spontaneous. I'm just noticing that he had the choice all along, but he wasn't aware yet.
Right. He had to be brought to this point
of awareness.
Just the struggles are about teaching him. He has to try and fail.
Yes.
He has to learn to believe. He believes, but he believes a little bit wrong. He put a lot of faith in the Oracle, and he had to figure it all out.
Yep.
But it's shaping him like sandpaper, and it's growing him like weights in a gym. And the whole transformation is the thing that...
Two analogies in one sentence.
I mix my metaphors. I've been actually doing really good. Along with dad jokes, I've been really doing good about not mixing my metaphors, but...
Oh, I enjoy it.
Here we are.
Keep going.
This is the adversity that we provide to our listeners so they can grow. There's no extra charge. Woo! So, okay, I'm on here. All right, so he beats Agent Smith down with his bare hands, and then he takes Morpheus and Trinity, and he sees them off, and they're back to the safety of the ship. And then he's shot dead, spoiler, by the vindictive Agent Smith. A final test for this person that we've built up to be this messianic figure.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of like a Jesus figure in this movie. Can you save us all from our damnation?
Oh, yeah.
And then he dies.
No,
he dies. Sorry, guys. The movie was cut short, and it had a very sad theme at the end. Really rolled the credits. Ooh, Neo will miss you. They put some teddy bears right where he died and stuff.
Yes.
No, that's not true. So only when he accepts Trinity's love and comes back to life is he fully transformed.
Oh.
So he was mostly transformed, but he had to pass that last test. There's like a trial by fire, an initiation kind of thing, a trial by fire. It's like, okay, you really have passed over to the other side, and you really are a new person now. So once he's passed that final test, he's the master of the Matrix. You know, he flexes and the bullets fall, and he does this. And I really wish I could do that sometimes. I stretch sometimes, and I watch to see if the corridors are going to flex with me. And so far, they never have. But here's hoping.
I've tried to fly.
It could happen.
Yeah, that doesn't work out too well either.
Huh. I can neither confirm nor deny that if you build cardboard wings and jump off of your house, aerodynamics are not your friend.
Is there a video of that anywhere?
Fortunately for me, this is before video was a thing. It was just me and gravity and my pain. I even told my parents, and they didn't even feel sorry for me. Like, that's what happens to dumb people. They learn painful lessons.
Yes, but you had a mindset shift.
I did.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, stories are not necessarily for real. Like, I'm glad I didn't try. I think I did. I tried the cardboard wings, and I went back with a trash bag. I said, I think I didn't do it right. Let me refine my technique. Trash bag.
Try fail. Trash
bag worked 0.2% better than the cardboard wings, but there was still some painful impacts involved. Wow, I'm going down yes.
You should not give up on that, by the way.
Paul's an enabler. How did Brent fall to his death? Well, Paul. Never mind. So I haven't gone parachuting. That's true. I'm not going to blame that on early painful childhood experiences. We'll just say that those two data points exist in a relationship of some kind. I built a parachute and it failed, and I never tried anyone else's parachute. All right. So another story we've been talking about is the Iron Man story. Another
two
great,
of my favorites.
It's a great story of transformation. That's probably why it's one of the best, or at least my favorite of the Marvel movies. It's because they spent the time building this really solid character arc. Some of the other movies were kind of rushed. I sat there like, why didn't I like Thor and Captain America as much as I liked Iron Man? Because they really spent the time to rehabilitate a jerk. And you're like, oh, that feels great.
Man.
So let's go through that.
Okay.
So through the entire movie of Iron Man 1, Tony Stark struggles to come to terms with his ego, his selfishness, and his legacy with the world, to the world. He starts the story as an egotistical and self-absorbed tech genius who spends his life being praised for his genius and chasing his own pleasures.
Ooh, that's that reinforcement I was talking about earlier.
You recall at the very beginning, he doesn't even get his own trophy.
Yes.
He sends his buddy to go pick trophy while he's gambling and girls are kissing his dice.
But
come on.
He gets captured.
But he gets captured, yes.
He escapes, watches his friend die.
Yes.
He discovers his own personal and corporate role in supplying terrorism.
Bad look.
Yeah. And slowly starts risking more and more to help others.
So he starts shaping that forward.
Yes.
Well,
It's beginning.
Tiny step forward. Step forward. It's like, hey, that didn't kill me. Let's try this again.
That's right.
I like it. At the climax of the movie, if you recall, he tells Pepper to blow up the arc reactor, fully expecting to die. He does a suicide move.
Kamikaze.
That, like Neo, he somehow survives the suicide move. He does a suicide move and lives to tell about it. That's what those two movies have in common.
But he passes the final test.
Right. He beats the villain and saves his girlfriend.
Finding enough selflessness. That's
just enough.
True story. Just enough to save the day. Right.
Right.
And he's not fully reformed.
Yes.
Still very arrogant.
Yes. And he's upgraded his identity and he starts his life of a new and more satisfying course as a high-tech superhero. But they point out that he's not fully rehabilitated when they get into the Avengers movie. He and Captain America have this fight. It's like, you would never lay down on the tripwire to save your buddy. He's like, well, I'm too smart for that. I would cut the wire or something. But he calls him out. He's like, you are smart and you're semi-heroic, but you won't give everything for others. And that the whole
turning point.
Right. And then spoiler to the end of the Avengers movies, after 21 movies or something, he finally gets to that point where he can do that.
So the story problem is impossible for the old protagonist to solve at the beginning of the story.
Correct.
The old version,
right,
as we were saying earlier. So only by learning, or I like this, unlearning.
Yes.
Changing how they become the type of person who can solve the problem. That's the transformation.
And that changes how we see our own adversities.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not the right person to solve this problem. This problem is really hard. It's like, this problem is helping you level up.
Yeah. And again, it's just, I hear it every day. I tried that. That's the most common one.
I've tried that.
That's the one I just want to just walk out of the room. I've tried that.
I've been thinking, random aside, I've been seeing these React posts or this whole thing. They'll talk about Malcolm Gladwell or something else. And I just started thinking about that. It's like, all right, I saw your thing and I halfway listened to it and I tried a poorly plotted out version of what you said and it didn't work for me. So I'm launching my own platform to talk about what a fraud you are. And it's like, you didn't even, what you call a try was like a 5% try.
Yeah.
Give it a full try. And if it still doesn't work, maybe.
But then there's the skill factor that nobody thinks about. It's like, it's like I told people, if I draw a straight line on this piece of plywood and give you a saw and tell you I want you to cut a straight line. Now, if this is the first time they've ever done this and it's crooked and they go, I tried. It takes several tries to get that thing straight.
Yeah.
Maybe dozens.
You are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. One of the stories that I tell myself to give myself courage, actually the story I told myself to give myself courage to actually start working on this, was how my oldest daughter nagged me, belovedly encouraged me to build her a built-in bookshelf for her house. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I am a rough carpenter. I'll build a doghouse that will survive a nuclear bomb, but nothing I build is pretty. Like there's this one time, literally, and I would tell her the story. There was this one time 26 years ago, I tried to build something pretty and the wood warped and it was ugly and I've never tried again. And I wasn't aware of the words that were coming out of my mouth. With his new filter, I recognize it all right now, but that was the story I told. She's like, would you just try for me, Daddy? It's like, you're 32 years old. Stop the daddy thing. But it worked and I tried it and it was really good. So I just took one step at a time. I Googled one step at a time. I prepped the night before I did it. B, caulk covers a multitude of sins.
Amen.
You know, we didn't have to stain it. We're painting it, so we could get away with a lot of stuff. And I got to the point, I'm so mad. This is 2 millimeters off. And she just looked at me. 2 millimeters? That's your standard of, maybe I'm overreacting. She's like, just a little. So, and it was beautiful. And I put that aside. And I went to go build something new, like a whole content system, the whole thing like we're doing here. Like, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm like, you built the thing step by step before. You developed the skills you didn't have to build a product that you only basically understood. You can do that again and again and again. I'm like, that's so true. Even my own stories can be used as inspiration to get me off the ledge and doing stuff.
Yes. Which is why I think sometimes people accounting for some accomplishment and maybe helping them see that area or that part of their life or that bracket, so to speak, through the lens of story, it can be inspirational.
That's something I would like to do. And maybe we can spend some more energy on that, is just to help people see stories in their own past that can help them move into the present. Is just a series of questions we can say, hey, what did happen in your past? I think you probably have a story in there that will help you.
You know, I know in the Jewish faith that this is why they do different celebrations. Because they remind them of accomplishments. They remind them of things that, God helped them through, and it helps them to be inspired for any obstacles they're dealing with in their personal lives.
I like that. We always made fun of the name Ebenezer, but apparently that has a meaning like rock of defense or something. And they piled all these rocks in a pile to remind themselves that they made it across the river. I was like, there's something powerful in having a physical reminder. You're like, you're having a crappy day. You turn your head, you see this big pile of rocks. Like, hey, it hasn't always been crappy. It won't always be crappy. There's a thing I can look to.
Yes.
I like it. All right. So I think we are at the point where we give the takeaways.
I can't believe we made it.
We've covered a lot of material. We had some try-fail cycles ourselves. We were discouraged. We may never make it all the way through this episode, but we held on to each other firmly. It's like, you got this, buddy. I got it too. And here we are. We made it. So here's some takeaways. We try to give some questions at the end of each episode that you can kind of think about and apply this information and actually see how you can tool up your own life.
I like this first one.
So question number 1, are there areas in your life where you're focusing on the short-term results rather than on the long-term process?
Oh, let that sink in. That's a really good question. But I'll go to the second question. How could your current struggles actually be working towards your transformation?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's really good.
Are there problems in your life that you are avoiding taking responsibility for? Are you getting hung up on the fact that they were not your fault and not actually embracing them and moving them forward? What are they?
The reason I like that question is because that's the question that really helps you frame whether or not your trajectory is moving toward the negative transformation or the positive transformation.
Are you taking responsibility for your own problems?
Yes.
Or are you still getting hung up on whose fault they are?
Yes.
Which, once again, to reiterate, it doesn't mean that they weren't someone else's fault, but that doesn't change anything. It's like, I think of it as somebody left a baby on your doorstep. It's like, it wasn't your fault, but now what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Or it might not have been a baby. It could have been a steaming pile or something. Somebody left something on your doorstep, but it's still your problem. Like, what are you going to do with this problem?
Great analogy. I'm stealing that.
I'm going to leave these dog turds on my porch for the next 5 years and say, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. But it's still your porch. You have to walk out there. You got to do something with this mess.
We need to come up with a book of analogies.
I wish, yes. Let's do it.
Oh, gosh. All right. Next one. Is there a transformation story that inspires you And can you see yourself having a similar arc of growth? Good one.
And finally, do you see yourself as having a growth mindset?
Ooh.
Can you let go and release your identity enough to shift into a better version of yourself?
That's a great question.
So these are great questions, and we want to hear from you. We want for you to contact us at contact@fullmentalbracket.com. We want to know how you're doing with your struggles. We want to know if this stuff is helping you. If it's not helping you, we still want to know that too. But tell us about how you're actually applying these questions. Tell us how you're actually applying this material. We want to hear your stories.
Genuinely
If
want
you
to
haven't figured this out yet, we're all about the story. Tell us a story. We want to know. Thank you for another episode. We will see you next episode where we talk about legacy.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
This episode is part of the Applied Storytelling Framework, a powerful tool you can use to build a meaningful and satisfying life, elevating your life story into something epic. You can find the entire framework right here. Do yourself a favor and watch these episodes. They will change the way you see yourself and give you the grip you need to level up your life. Thank you.